Okay. Alright, let's talk. Close the computer. Alright, G, page 65 out. We're talking about the three branches. Page 65. Sam, do you have this?
Yes.
Okay. No.
Recording.
Okay. Alright, our first, ladies, gentlemen. Oh, wait. So we're not ready to begin.
What's right here?
Calm down. All I'm doing is singing.
Alright, so we'd like to read our first paragraph there. We're talking about, briefly, about the three branches, okay, because if you look at my big constitution up there, alright, the articles, the 7 articles that come after the preamble, alright, they say what each branch can do, okay, and we'll talk more about these and more specifics later on, but today we're just going to kind of get an overview. Cassie, can you read the little box there for us?
Elected officials in the U.S. Congress make the nation's laws. Congress is the legislative branch of the U.S. government.
Very good. All right, and then we have our two houses.
Woohoo!
Right, and remember we call it bicameral. Bi meaning two, like bicycle. Okay. And what are our two houses that we have? Two houses. Olivia?
The House of Representatives and the Senate.
Very good. House of Representatives and the Senate. Does anyone know how many members we have in the House of Representatives?
Oh, no.
Josh?
400?
Close.
Total or like just from our state?
No, in total. 400 something. Yeah. 10 more.
465.
Really?
435.
Libby, what math class are you in?
I couldn't hear you. I like said 10 more.
35,
Right.
Libby, 35.
Oh, and I only
And then
the Senate has.
the Senate has how many?
Oh, I know.
Olivia?
100.
Yes, 100. Right? There's 2 per state.
108.
And the House of Representatives is based off of population. Okay, so like a state like California has lots of representatives, whereas a state like
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island has very little.
Wait, isn't the Speaker of the House retiring?
Yes, on Friday he is.
Can't handle it.
Wait, but just because they're a small state, they don't have a lot of people. Like Virginia's
Yeah,
a
no,
smaller
he's
state
just
with a lot
alive.
of
He's been
people.
speaker for a long time. Yeah.
Okay, I now have the phone stuck in my head forever.
But Rhode Island has less people than California. Can you put it
Oh, you
down
have to show
more?
me how to do that. Thanks.
Wait, Mr. Buck, because it's based on population,
Sorry.
do actually states have less members than Rhode Island?
I'm sorry. Oh, there's a minimum. So you get each state gets a minimum of 2.
For the House of
Sorry, we got less
Representatives.
on.
Wait, for the House of Representatives, right? This is for the representatives. This is for House of Representatives.
Yeah.
What's our next?
But wait, because is one state
There
like
must be a way. I know how to do it.
Okay. Well, once it's finished.
Mr. Buck?
Yeah.
But is there a state where that because its population is so small, it has less representatives than Rhode Island?
No.
There is
that's why I
a
said
smaller
minimum.
No, but like it's
No
based
matter
on
what your
population.
population is, you get a minimum of 2 representatives.
But isn't there like
Wait, can you go over?
a
Can you
state
go up
that has
Yeah, like Wyoming has. I think
people?
it's either Wyoming or Vermont. They are the least populated states.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Wait, can you go?
Sorry.
Wait, what is it number for
What do you need, Sarah?
per state based on population?
I'll zoom in. All right, so There's a few things Congress can do. They can approve an annual budget. They can confirm or reject presidential appointments. Okay, meaning the president can appoint Supreme Court justices, but Congress could reject it if they wanted to. All right. They can raise money through taxes or fees, regulate foreign trade, as well as they have the power to declare war. Right? The president cannot declare war. And we'll talk more about the powers that Congress has later on.
They have like all the power. The president has like no power.
There's a lot of power. He has the power of the
Oh, and you have to
veto.
keep all your hats.
Wait a minute.
Guess what? All of the hats. All of the 7.
They can't. It says in the Constitution that only
Why did
the
you wear
legislative
7
branch has
hats
the power to
anyway?
declare war.
Oh, well.
Wait, but couldn't the president
He could, right? But then Congress can override a veto.
So he just
So
has
they
the power
vote-
of veto, but they
If
can totally like.
3/4 of Congress votes to override it, then
That's-
it
that's not cool.
means that it passes completely.
Awesome.
Wait, so then we do go to war?
But we haven't declared war since World War II, so we've still been in wars, but we've never officially declared war.
And the president cannot actually.
Wait, why is there a video there?
What?
Because I
Okay,
won't be
Sarah.
here for 7 days.
Yes, they've been at war since they just signed a ceasefire, meaning they're not shooting anymore,
Yay.
but they're still at war.
Wait, why are they still at war?
With
Doesn't
who?
it get tiring?
The president doesn't have to. The president doesn't
It's
have
called a
to-
ceasefire, meaning they've stopped.
They didn't actually. Yeah, we learned about this last.
Right, they've just stopped fighting. They've just stopped firing shots at each other.
Yeah, I know the president doesn't have any power. The president doesn't have any.
Okay,
Moving
moving on to
66.
the executive branch.
Can I reach my locks?
What do you need? No. Sorry. When we're done with the notes, you can. Natalie, can you read the text box?
Executive carries out the laws of the president is the head of the executive.
Thank you.
Wait, didn't that was a while ago we said that we were doing our last notes?
Yeah, it was for our last unit, but now's our next unit.
Wait, isn't this the same thing? Oh no, this is the other page.
Alright, President's main job is to carry out the laws. So what he does, right, he prepares an annual budget for review and approval by Congress. Alright, we just, a few days ago, they just came to a budget agreement. Right, remember, I don't know if you remember, we talked about how there might have been a government shutdown, okay, if they couldn't agree. Well, they just agreed for a 2-year budget, which is pretty, I don't know, it's a pretty big accomplishment, considering before they could never agree on a budget, and it was always just like,
Didn't that
every
shut down
few
the
months.
government a couple years ago?
Yes.
Or maybe, what was it, last year?
It was
2
like a
years
couple years
ago.
ago.
Yep, they shut it down for like a month.
Wow.
Are they shutting
That's
it down?
not
Are
good.
they gonna shut it down?
No, because they passed the
Wait,
budget.
but
We almost
Mr. Buck,
shut
how
down.
did they shut down the government?
The government could do so.
Because if you can't pass a budget, then the government doesn't know what it can spend anymore. Right? It doesn't have the power to spend money.
They can't pay anymore.
So they can't pay workers, they can't keep parks open, they can't, right? All these government institutions we have, they can't function without a budget.
So then they just shut down.
Yep.
Why?
Because they don't have money to spend.
Why don't they
Why
just
don't
like?
they just get a budget?
I know. I'm just.
Well, they
It's
do
not that
now.
hard that like come up with a budget.
They can't agree.
They couldn't agree. They're being petty.
The president
All right.
does not-
He also appoints federal judges, cabinet officers, and ambassadors. All right. But he needs Congress to approve all of that. Okay, so we could appoint someone for a ambassador position, and Congress could say no, and then he has to appoint somebody else.
Bruh.
So, right, this creates a lot of problems because President Obama's in what party? Right, and the House and the Senate are controlled by what party?
Oh.
Republicans, right? So, all right, they don't always see eye to eye on things. So, president could say, "Hey, I want, Dimitri to be my ambassador to England." All right, and the Republicans could say, "No, we don't want Dimitri."
But I'm good.
Yeah, Olivia.
And Syria.
I don't remember.
I'm a Democrat.
That's, something like if you're an ambassador to England, that's a pretty cushy job. So that's a pretty sought out.
Wait,
what?
Why is it? What does cushy mean?
Like, how many problems do we have with England? Not many. So you do work, but it's not as much as if you're like an ambassador to Syria or something.
Well, why would you want to say
Cereal.
Syria, not Syria.
Yes, we were so much fight.
Yeah, Sarah.
Libby, that is so really random.
Okay, ladies, gentlemen.
Administrative.
The U.S. didn't have a lot of problems with Thailand. When we went there, he was bored and had nothing to do. So we wanted to go to Iraq, but he'd already been banned from Iraq.
Been banned from Iraq.
He was on a weapons inspection team, and they sent us Iraq sent a letter to the UN of a list of about 20 people that they had to have banned. My dad was on it,
Oh my,
so he can't visit.
that's a bit crazy. And then he also administers the federal bureaucracy. Ugh. Right, so all those government agencies, all right, that we have, okay, the president is basically their boss, right? So like the FBI,
Wait, can he
Cool.
the Secret Service?
Secret Service.
Can he fire them?
He could.
I know something the president doesn't have the authority to do, but it's.
Wait, does he have to get permission to fire them?
Yes, he could recommend, someone to be fired. But it depends.
The president does not have the authority to change the course of a space mission.
No, we can't change the course of the space mission.
Sure, he can. That's not the flight director's. Sure, he can fire the flight director, but that won't do any good, right? But he does have the authority to fire the flight director. But that doesn't do any good if he creates help like Apollo 13 or something.
If the president had that power, I'd be president.
All right, ready to move to our last page?
Wait, Mr. Bob, why are you filming this?
Because I won't be here this afternoon for my afternoon class. So it's easier than having a sub try do notes. It usually doesn't go.
I am a hut.
No.
You're just basic.
That's happened
Yeah, me.
before.
Ow! I am a hut.
Okay, be ready?
Let's go.
Sure.
Can we do our scavenger hunt?
We got one more page. That was
Wait, I only got one page.
Cut the other one out.
67.
The person asking me to try to create toys for the toy. Using the toy that's kind of
All right, 67. The judicial branch.
And vacuums out the waste once it's
Okay, Mia, go ahead. Hold on, ladies, gentlemen. Owen. All right, go ahead, Mia.
The federal courts have the job of enforcing the nation's laws. They are in the judicial branch of the national government.
Thank you. All right, guys.
Oh, you grabbed it?
Need to stop. All right. Yes, Libby, can you read our next one for us?
The federal courts hold trials
Gosh.
on cases involving a violation of federal laws, such as the law against selling dangerous drugs.
Mhm.
They also hold trials on cases that involve interpreting the Constitution, such cases might involve freedom of speech issues, for example. Often, such cases move up from the lower federal courts and reach the U.S. Supreme Court.
Good. Okay, so Supreme Court only hears cases violating federal law or with the Constitution. All right, they're not going to hear cases of like murder, okay, or
Really? What if it was a murder?
Wait, why
No.
not?
no, because that's not their job.
Wait, what happened?
Their job is to interpret the Constitution
They would
or interpret the law.
They would hear it, but they wouldn't do anything
Yes.
But killing people is
Ladies, gentlemen, one at a time. Huh? It's against the law, but that's not their job. They're not interpreting whether you're, following the law or not. It's pretty clear if you murder someone, you're not following the law. Okay.
Unless you accidentally.
I don't think there's any accidental murders.
That's true.
My knife into your head.
Okay, so Supreme Court, highest court in the land, and it can declare a law unconstitutional. Right, we just talked about how with same-sex marriage, okay, they declared that it was unconstitutional for states to ban it, okay? So states have to allow it. Yes.
But people still won't let them go in restaurants.
What do you mean in restaurants?
Like some restaurants are banning.
Oh, I have not heard that, but that also comes down to like civil rights law then at that point.
So that's still not even the Supreme Court.
That is. So what happens is, right, if that's happening in certain states, okay, it has to work through the state court system, okay, and then the state courts can keep saying, okay, we think it should go to a higher court, and each state has their own Supreme Court as well. And then what happens is, if it's reached that level, they can then say, okay, we want it to be heard by the U.S. Supreme Court. Okay, and what their power, they have the power of called judicial review, right, which is whether they say it's constitutional or not. And we'll talk all about this, more about this stuff when we get to it. This is just an overview of what the three branches can do. Yeah, Olivia?
Oh, so say, can I read the next part?
Yeah, you want to read our last paragraph there?
The power of the Supreme Court to declare a law unconstitutional is called the power of the judicial review. It does not happen very often, but it is very important to safeguard to the rights of citizens. A law that is declared unconstitutional is no longer valid and cannot be used against anyone.
Good. Thank you. This is our last page. So when you're done with that, you can put the notes away.
One second.
I'll explain two things: our homework and the scavenger hunt activity.
The hamper. Wait,